Oh, I got
All
to turn
right,
my beauty
welcome.
lamp.
What was that?
So I got to turn my beauty lamp on.
Oh, there you go. All right, welcome everyone. We are live again after a 2 week bye. Here we are doing Sunday morning start sits. We are here to cover all things fantasy football, IDP, offense, whatever you have a question for. We will answer it. We go through every question that comes through, and as you see, it'll pop up at the bottom of the screen, and we will answer that question. So get your questions in, send them through Periscope or YouTube, uh, and we will take them live on the show. Guys, how are you all doing this fine morning? Let's start off with the matchups that you're most interested in, or the games that you can't wait to watch. Let's go, Jorge. You're new to the program here, and
Thank you.
if you want to give everyone just a quick introduction to who you are and where you write for and what you do, and then go with the matchup you like most.
Sure. So I'm Jorge Edwards. I write for fantasyandframes.com as well as here at IDP Guys. Been doing this for a few years. Really love fantasy football. Really fell in love with IDP, and very happy to be here today. In terms of matchup, I'm looking forward to. We were just talking about this a little bit before the show, and I hate to steal an answer, but the Detroit New York Giants football game is something I'm looking very forward to. I really am curious about Ty Johnson. Everybody spent buku bucks on him in Fab this week. What are we really expecting? You Dougie, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So that's one big thing. And then as far as the running game, specifically for the Giants, technically the Lions have all these traditional run stoppers. They're supposed to have the talent to stop the run, but they've been pretty horrible at that the past few weeks. Saquon's coming back. What is that going to mean? How he came out of the game last week with a flare up with his ankle injury. Is he going to be able to stay in the whole game? A lot of questions there in the matchup for both sides of the ball. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
Nice, very good. Let's go clockwise here. So Hollywood, give a quick intro. It has been a couple weeks, but I'm sure most people know who you are and what game you're most excited for.
Yeah, I write for Dynasty Football Factory, co-host on IDP Nation podcast. I kind of mentioned it before too. The Buffalo Philadelphia game. Supposed to be huge wind gust up there most of the day, 30 mile an hour. So going to be rough to pass. So I imagine both sides are going to run, which helps those linebackers. Tremaine Edmonds, they like to score.
Yes, and your feed seems to want to freeze.
It's a good
All right,
glamour shot.
Hollywood.
Really good glamour shot.
Yeah, there we go. So, Dougie, how about you? Give us a quick intro and what game you are most excited for.
What's up, everybody? I'm usually the host on Rated IDP Live when the armadillos ain't digging up the internet line out back and messing up the signal and everything. But had little complications this last week and didn't get to make the whole show. But I'm a writer, ranker for IDPguys.org and the occasional podcast savant, I guess you could say. But I'm looking forward to those Niners and Panthers squaring off. Carolina's got a good football team, man. You never know. I guess you always know what you're going to get with the Panthers. You're always going to get tough defense. You're going to see a lot of CMC in the trenches. The defensive line in Carolina, good on the edges, good in the interior. We'll see if the injuries are a little bit too much for them to overcome, and see if the Niners can't stay undefeated.
Nice. Very good. All right, a little quick bit about me, and then we'll get into the questions. I see Finn's Bolts LAL. Lol? I don't know. Has a question ready to go, and then Hollywood has some in the chamber. But my name is Nate Cheat. You can find me on Twitter. I am the owner of IDP Guys, Dynasty Football Digest, Writer Digest Network. We I have been doing this thing for about 2 years, and it's great fun. So the matchup I'm most looking forward to is New Orleans Saints versus Arizona. Drew Brees coming back in my Scott Fishbowl league. I got Drew back off the injury, off the bench, so I'm starting him and Stafford. A couple weeks ago, I had Hunter Henry come back, so my team is looking pretty good. So I'm excited to go into the last part of this season, see where I can go. I'm tied for first, so in my division. So things
Nice.
are looking good. So let's take a couple questions here. We've got Fins Bolts LAL pick 2 in PPR, Mark Walton, Preston Williams, and Melvin Gordon.
Ooh.
Ooh. Ooh.
Do you know if I start us off with this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Last week, the Chargers did a really good job of actually getting Austin Eckler out in passing situations and kind of left the volume of the running game to Melvin Gordon. If that wasn't the case, I would have said, you know what, Melvin Gordon, right off the bat. I still may lean towards Melvin Gordon just because of the volume, and he does have that pass catching ability. But, we saw that last year with him, and you saw the big fantasy numbers that he was able to put up regardless of format. I think that, however, the Chargers are going to kind of stick to incorporating Austin Eckler, as best they can. That being said, I think this is a great matchup for Melvin Gordon, and if there ever was going to be a get-right game for him, it would be this week. So I guess I would go with Melvin Gordon in this situation.
And who would be the
Versus
second?
the Bears? You think he gets right against the Bears?
I do. I don't think the Bears' defense is as it was in the beginning of the season. I just think the volume's going to be there. Let's see if I pull up run defense statistics real quickly. The Bears just, they're a top 10 defense, yes, of course. But I don't know. I feel like they need to get Melvin Gordon right. They need to establish this running game. For whatever reason, the passing game for the Chargers hasn't been doing much lately. This is more of like a need play for Los Angeles. I almost said San Diego. For Los Angeles, I think Melvin Gordon gets it right, considering the other options he just listed. Now, Hollywood, you had mentioned you were mentioning earlier the Bills game later, were you mentioning the Dolphins game at all? No, you were not. Hollywood.
Seems to be that the critters are getting to they moved from Dougie to Hollywood here.
Ran him off. I got him out of here.
No worries. So I'd go Melvin Gordon in this situation.
All right.
Right on. And if you're taking Gordon there, Jorge, I'll take Preston Williams in that Pittsburgh matchup. I guess that'd be the Monday night game there, Miami and Pittsburgh. So I don't know. Maybe they put a little bit more effort in on a Monday night game, primetime game. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm staying away from Mark Walton.
All right. So the two that we're picking, Preston Williams and Melvin Gordon, to answer the question?
Yeah.
All righty. Let's pull that one down. So FF Trader Joe jumped in the chat. He says, "Hey dudes," and then he drops a bomb on me.
Oh,
Just heard Breeze might only play a few series. So I need to figure out what's going on there because I might have to swap him in Scott Fishbowl. But man, all right, we got Antonio De Hoyos. Thoughts on Miles Jack and Fred Warner?
Oh man, if there's ever a week that we can start Miles Jack with confidence, it should be this week with Quincy Williams out, everybody banged up there in that linebacking core. I believe there's two or three others in that linebacking core banged up. But it's just so hard to trust Miles Jack, man. I mean, the tackle rate is just atrocious. Even if he gets 100% of the snaps, the tackle rate ends up being like 16% to 8% tackle rate. And if you're getting 100% of the snaps and you're only getting me 4 tackles and 2 of them's combined tackles, then hey man, I'm going Fred Warner. I'm going Fred Warner. I'm going Fred Warner.
Yeah. What do you think there, Jorge?
Look, I'm with you with Miles Jack. If I had a helmet on while I was watching a Jaguars game, I'd be throwing it on the ground relentlessly every time I see the opportunity slip away from Miles Jack. That being said, I feel like for the 49ers, their pass rush is really going to be emphasized more so than potentially seeing more linebacker activity. You know, yes, a strong running game. You emphasize your linebackers more, of course. But McCaffrey's kind of shifty, you know. like I don't know if Warner necessarily has the athleticism to kind of stay with Christian McCaffrey running all over the field, whereas I have more faith in like a 49ers pass rush getting to Kyle Allen. So you flip that on the other side, the Jets. You hear these rumors of they're trying to get rid of Robbie Anderson or that he's on the trade block. Does that mean that they're going to de-emphasize him to keep him healthy? You know, and then therefore, what does that do to the passing game? You saw what the Patriots did to the Jets and how they were getting to Darnold. You know, he was seeing ghosts the other week. The Jets, I feel like they're going to kind of take the pressure off Darnold after last week and emphasize the running game in that situation with Le'Veon Bell. So yeah, I think we're going to be split again. I think I have more confidence in Miles Jack plugging up the running lanes for Le'Veon Bell this week than I do for Fred Warner trying to tackle Christian McCaffrey all over the field.
Yeah. Hollywood, how's that internet doing? Did you get rid of the possums?
I hope so. I hope so.
You want to give some insight on Miles Jack, Fred Warner?
I think I'm going to go with Warner. I mean, that 49ers defense is it's getting ramped up, and they're going to want to avoid Buckner and Bosa. So teams are going to try to attack linebackers, even though Quan and Warner are 2 of the best. I think they're going to see the most action. McCaffrey's going to be everywhere, so those linebackers are going to have to be on point today. And with Bosa and Buckner and those guys coming after Allen to try to put pressure on him, I think it's going to be a big, big game for the linebackers today.
Gotcha. Nice. All right. So Dale Lang, he needs to start 3 cornerbacks. He's got Bradbury, Trey Herndon, Denzel Ward, Darrell Roberts, and Darius Slay, who is out. So not Darius Slay.
Yeah.
Bradbury for sure.
Yeah.
So who are you not starting in that cornerback? Those 4: Bradbury, Herndon, Ward, Roberts.
I'd shy away from Ward just because I feel like the Patriots are going to target the rookie more so than Denzel Ward this week. It just makes sense that that's the course of action that they would take. Both Ward and Greedy Williams are coming off of hamstring injuries that have kept them out of action for so many weeks. Mm-hmm. It's just an experience factor, and the Patriots are going to go after a quote unquote link or inexperienced link in that situation.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Hello, good morning, Eric H. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Eric.
What up, EH?
All right. So David Matula, D Ford versus Carolina, or Sam Hubbard versus the Rams?
Hubbard. Is
that how you all feel?
Yeah, I'm with Hubbard. I agree with Hubbard this week. I just feel like the pass rushers for the 49ers, like Armstead and Bosa, it's about a rep availability, and I feel like Hubbard gets more reps obviously than D Ford might, coming off of that injury, still recovering.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. From Periscope, FF Matthew Schlow, Ty versus New York Giants. I'm assuming it's Ty Johnson. Tevin Coleman versus Carolina. MG. We were just talking about him. Melvin Gordon at Chicago. 2/3 PPR.
Never heard that before.
That's interesting.
Me neither.
So not half point, not full point. 2/3 point.
Fair enough.
There's all kinds of leagues out there, folks.
Yeah, there is.
There's different wrinkles, that's for sure.
I think this is the first call this week where I'm going to go with the new guy. I'm going Ty, fellas. I'm going with Ty, man. I don't know really who the number one is there in San Francisco. They got them running backs coming in and out so much. It seems like it's always kind of game dependent, script dependent on who gets the ball the most. We talked a little bit about Gordon earlier. Jorge thinks they might need to get it on track. I'm shying away from them Bears, so give me Ty.
So he clarifies it's 2 out of 3. He needs to start 2.
Oh, okay.
So pick 2, guys.
Ty and MG from me.
Yeah, I can't see you benching MG. It's tough, But speaking of Tevin Coleman, there, San Francisco fan, bring us up to date. What's going on over there in that run game, the backfield? Whose ball is it?
Man, it's kind of hard to tell because he likes Breida for the cheetah. He likes the speed, man. He likes the speed. He likes being able to throw a little swing pass for him and he'll make 2 moves and take it 85 yards. Right. That's not really Tevin Coleman's game. Can Tevin Coleman do that? Yeah. So in a game like last week where it's pouring down rain, it's 6-0, it's 3-0, it's 9-0. The whole game kind of slow going, a little bit more, methodical pacing. Tevin Coleman might see a little bit more of the carry because they're not, it's not that spark plug really probably ain't going to happen in a downpouring rain, And in a close game like that, if you flip the script and maybe the weather's a little bit nicer, maybe that is where Breida might see more touches because they're looking for somebody to put in and break one, and separate a little bit of a gap. But another thing you got to think about is he's keeping that defense fresh too. So if he can keep Coleman in the game and Coleman can plod along and get 4 or 5 yards, first down, second down, then bring in Breida, and Breida can also tote the rock, catch a little pass. Same thing with Coleman. So I wish I could tell you whose rock it is, but I think it's going to be completely game script. I think it's just straight like today in Carolina. I can see Coleman dominating the carries, probably the first half of the game or first quarter at least. And then let's say we look up and he has 7 carries for 14 yards. Well, now you're going to start seeing Breida, sprinkled in even more. And let's say he busts one for 25 yards. Well, now everybody's ears are perked up. Now you got the linebackers, paying attention more to the run game. You got the defensive line paying more attention to the run game. So you keep Breida in and you feed the hot hand. I just think it's going to go like that back and forth pretty much all year.
Gotcha. All right, so we're gonna get to some questions here, but there's an important one that came through. Mr. Adam IDP, he asked, "Morning, boys. He's getting a croissant sandwich at Burger King. Should he go bacon or ham variety?"
Ham. It's ham. It's ham. It's all day.
You
ham.
don't like bacon?
Don't like bacon.
Oh man,
don't like bacon.
I like crunchy bacon. In Burger King, they never do crunchy bacon right. So I gotta go with ham this week.
It's ham. You get that ham, and then you get that grape jelly. You pour it apart. You get that grape jelly. You put half of it on top of the croissant, and then you put that other half of that grape jelly on that ham. Throw that bad boy together, and we're on the road. Make sure you keep the wrapper and put it around the bottom of the sandwich because the jelly likes to fall out. We get the jelly coming out, right? So you need that little safety blanket.
So it doesn't get on your shirt.
There we go.
Yeah.
We should do breakfast morning food advice. For that. That was perfect analysis right there.
Yeah. But I like what you were bringing up about the bacon. I do like crispy bacon, but the flavor still of that limp bacon is still pretty good. So I do like.
Inside they do.
Oh, Dougie says he doesn't like bacon.
It's overrated.
All right.
It's the Aaron Rodgers of fast food.
Oh, snap.
Wow, shots fired. Cannon fired.
He is at Oklahoma Doug. You can find him on Twitter. His DMs are open. All right, we're going with Bobby Schuster here. Non-PPR, who do I sit? Edelman for the rain, Hilton because of Chris Harris, and Edmonds, no defense.
I think it's Ty. You look at every wide receiver, number one wide receiver that's gone up against Chris Harris. I mean, Harris has limited them to under 100 yards receiving. The last time he's lined up against T.Y. Hilton in their matchups, he's kept them under close to 100 yards receiving. I just don't see, of course, especially in a non-PPR or non-half PPR for standard. Yeah, no, I'm staying away from T.Y. Hilton this week.
That's
I'll
pretty
second
solid.
that.
I think Edelman is generally short passing throws anyways, so I don't know if the rain's going to affect him too much. Chase Edmonds, the no defense in Arizona, the Saints could run up the score big. I think they're still going to have to establish a run, though. And you said earlier that David Johnson's been ruled out all the way until next week and then the bye. So
right,
it's Chase Edmonds season. So if you've got him, this is the time to start him. So
right.
I'm telling you, that Saints defense has been playing on fire there, though. Watch out starting the Arizona Cardinals. That team is playing some damn defense now. They are on fire. They got Sheldon Rankins back up front, and I think it's going to be tough sledding for Chase Edmonds today.
Yeah, they're not
I believe it.
In the passing game now. They're not going to be able to just pound the rock 20 times a game and hope he's going to come out on top with anything.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Eric H here. He says pick 3. Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Myles Garrett, Shaq Thompson, Preston Smith, Nick Vigil.
The first 3. No,
the first 3.
Give me Bosa, Garrett, and Shaq Thompson. I'll sit Nick Bosa.
Baby Bosa.
I'll sit baby.
How has Baby Bosa been doing? I know he had
Baby Bosa's doing great.
He's been
doing great, but he still ain't playing
Yep.
the full snaps. They're still rotating him in and out with Eric Armstead at defensive end, and he's still not playing 100% of the snap. They still ain't let him just pin his ears back and go in every single play that he wants to go in. They're still maintaining his snaps, kind of watching him over a little bit.
So how is he in comparison points-wise and stats-wise? Because I know that he had a big game a few weeks ago, followed by not so big of a game. Is he someone – I mean, obviously we're looking for the future, but is he startable right now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have this week. I actually listed this week both. In one of my lineups, I have Bosa. I had to insert Bosa and Armstead, and I'm actually not feeling sad about that. You look at a couple weeks ago, I believe it was the Rams game that you were talking about, where he did really well. No, it was the Cleveland game where he did really well. Then the Rams game was kind of like a dud. But then last week against Washington, you look at what the 2 games that he really blew up in. What do these teams emphasize? What are they good at? It's the running game. You got Nick Chubb in Cleveland. You got the Redskins last week emphasizing the running game because of the weather conditions. What do you know? They're taking on another run-heavy team this week. I just feel like the game script leans towards Nick Bosa in this matchup.
Gotcha.
And just real quick here, Nate. He's the 16th scoring defensive end in the Pod Wars League.
Well,
you know how that scoring is. It's pretty on the money.
So you would call him like a DE2.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Nailed it. Yep.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. We got Nick Bestine. Choose 3 of the 4 for standard. Josh Jacobs, Chris Carson, James Conner, Latavius Murray. Is Alvin Kamara playing today?
He's out.
He's out.
Yeah.
I think I said James
I would
Conner.
go Murray, Jacobs, and Conner, wouldn't you?
Yep. I'd sit Conner, I think.
I like Chris Carson. I've been running with him.
And go with Carson.
They're playing the Dolphins though, ain't they? Ugh.
Yeah, I know. I hear that, but you look at all the previous games, at least the past 3 or 4 games that the Steelers have played. What's his name? Conner hasn't been in for a full series of snaps the entire for the entire game. He's always coming out injured. They're bringing in Benny Snell for some plays. They're bringing in Jalen Samuels. Like, he's had some great fantasy games, but as far as like consistent volume, like he's coming off the field more often than not than I think the other three running backs, and so that's why I would kind of sit Connor out of those four, excuse me. But it's the Dolphins, right? So, but the Dolphins, even though they're 0-6, they have the 13th best run defense, which blows my mind that a 0-6 team is in the top 15 of run defense statistics. It drives like football, right? So yeah, that's kind of my rationale.
So they must be super terrible at the pass coverage and pass rushing, just to allow pretty much anyone. If you can throw the ball 10 yards, you're going to beat Miami. So
and also the offense only comes on for 3 plays and they're out like 99% of the time. So yeah, they might be good against the run game, but that's because they're probably getting 600 carries seen against them.
Let me correct myself really quickly. The PFF just updated their rankings, and now they dropped to 20th. Okay, so now they're making Connor a little bit more weak. Okay. That being said, the coming off the field thing versus the consistent volume you're getting with the other three, especially with Latavius Murray this week, you seeing how he did last week. I'm still going to stand. I'm going to stand by what I said. I would not start Connor this week.
All righty. Let's see here. We got FF Matthew Schlo again. Grady Jarrett versus Seattle. Jaron Reed versus Atlanta. Larry Ogunjobi at New England. Who are you sitting?
I'm sitting Larry O.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too.
Yeah, Brady's not Larry O. Ogunjobi, Kansas City. Yeah, I'd agree. I agree with that.
All right. Let's see. That is all right. So we've exhausted the questions so far that have been submitted. So for everyone out there, get your questions in. We are taking every single one of them. We are going to. Yeah.
Hey, Nate. I noticed that our good buddy there, EH. I kind of forgot that he's a diehard Carolina Panthers fan.
Yes.
So just a real big quick shout out back to him there. Go Niners. Carry on.
He said, "Thanks, fellas. Go Panthers. Just for you, Doug." For everyone out there, Eric is the editor, one of the editors at IDP Guys and Dynasty Football Digest. Great guy. Always has good questions for us. Each
killer college football follow too. Dude knows his damn. He loves him some college football fantasy, man. That dude, he's always got a league open. Always got looking to fill a spot. So hit him up if you want to get a college football league.
Yeah, for sure. Hollywood, how's it going over there? The possum still getting to you? If yes, don't say anything.
Blink twice if you need help.
Going back to Ogunjobi for a second, I think I misspoke. I said Kansas City, no, Cleveland. You look at the Giants pass rush a couple weeks ago, like they were getting to Brady on Thursday Night Football, and so and even in the Monday night blowout last week against the Jets defensive line did get some pressure on Tom Brady. Out of those three, I wouldn't play him, but this Patriots O-line is not exactly scaring me from a defensive standpoint, based off of recent performances.
Yeah, I was going to go back to this too. I think that there's a lot on that line, and I think that they're going to get to Brady. I'm just thinking it's going to be Myles Garrett.
You don't think they're going to try and take him away, scheme him away?
I mean, they could, and it's just difficult. I think they're going to find it's difficult with that line. You got Olivier Vernon on the other side. He's still doing pretty well. I think I think Belichick's going to go into it looking like if we take away Myles Garrett, then we're going to just have to deal with the blind side. of Olivier Vernon coming at him, and I don't know if he's going to like that. And then you've got Larry Ogunjobi right up the gut, so I think they're going to have to be balanced, and I think that's going to benefit Myles Garrett in the end. Whereas Atlanta, you've got Matt Ryan, who he's got a bum ankle, doesn't he?
He does.
So he's not going to be
declared
able
out.
to
He's
run
not
around too much.
Schaub this week.
Hmm?
It's Matt Schaub who's starting this week. Ryan was declared out.
Oh, he was? Okay, because I had heard that he was going to play.
No, well, he came into practice limited. He finally practiced on Friday, I should say. He had not practiced earlier in the week.
Yeah.
But I believe the reports yesterday came out that Schaub will be playing and Ryan is out this week.
Okay, so that kind of changes things up. But at the same point, Matt Schaub isn't no spring chicken. So
Yeah, this is in 2005.
Right. So I would still, prefer that matchup. And Grady Jarrett, it's hard to sit him. Even with you've got Russell Wilson over there, who is the ultimate scrambler. I think they're going to be flushing him out of the pocket. And, I don't think that you're hurting making the choice between these three. For sure. So we got one more from FF Matthew Schlow. Last one, KJ Wright versus Atlanta. Tyre Whitehead at Houston. Jayon Brown versus Tampa Bay. Who to start?
Oh, I like KJ. This Seahawks linebacking core, I can't get enough of it. Bobby Wagner for many seasons is a staple of the IDP community when it comes to linebacker. KJ Wright the past few seasons has always been battling injuries and coming back. I just give me the KJ Wright. This Atlanta Falcons running game, if you want to call it that, has been anything but stellar. Devonta Freeman looks like he's regressed considerably. Running the ball, getting the ball out of the backfield as a pass catcher, that's different. But you look at the tackle numbers for KJ Wright, 30 solo, 28 assists so far in the season. I mean, that's not too far behind Bobby Wagner with 38 and 31. So these two linebackers can both get their points, and I just feel like with the poor quality of the running game in Atlanta, like it just sets up KJ for another great game.
Yeah, absolutely. Doug, you got anything you want to throw in there?
No. Jorge hit it all. It's Whitehead. It's close to me. It's a little closer to me. Jorge sounds like it might be a slam dunk for him. I might lean Whitehead, but Jorge made great point, so I'm gonna go with him. We're gonna go.
Well, let me return the favor a little bit and go with the Whitehead. Or talk about Whitehead for a second. Carlos Hyde isn't exactly the most elusive running back either. You know what I mean? And so in terms of that running game, he's more of a downhill runner. So, I mean, Vontaze Burfict, obviously he's suspended for the year. Whitehead is taking over as the lead guy there in that linebacking core. And so there is room for that. I get concerned with a scrambling quarterback that you're always going to run the risk of that running game kind of used as a decoy. And you get that, you get a Deshaun Watson who will run it for 5 yards or run it for 10 yards or whatever. So I'm that's why I'm kind of leaning more towards KJ than I would Tyre Whitehead. If it was another quarterback for the Houston Texans who couldn't run and they were just going to pound the rock with the Carlos Hyde who can't, evade a tackle to save his life, I would go Whitehead in that situation. But just given the situation, KJ for me.
And no Jayon Brown because he's banged up last week, coming back this week against Tampa Bay, who don't really establish the run that well and don't really do the dump off pass, the slant, anything, a lot of the stuff that involves our linebacker tackling numbers.
Right.
And I expect Rashaan Evans to actually outperform Jayon Brown today. So that's why I know Jay.
I was a big Jayon Brown person coming into the season. I thought once he climbed into I was gung ho.
One of my favorite players.
Yeah. He's had some good games though.
Good games. Oh yeah. Still real young.
Right.
He'll come around. He'll come around.
All right, we got another question here. Garrett Pippen. He says awful weather in Buffalo. So do I start John Brown or put in either Stills or Golden Tate.
Golden Tate, baby.
I love
the
Golden
revenge,
Tate.
the revenge
right
game
Yeah.
narrative there. Come on.
Yes. He's liable to get 25 targets today.
Look at the Lions. Like they traded away Quandre Diggs to Seattle.
Careful.
I know that's a sensitive subject. I know, and I know for who.
Speaking of them, fire up that Tracy Walker.
Oh yeah, exactly. Tracy Walker, another one, free
Get
safety.
them two-stepping boots on, baby.
Yeah, yeah. It's Golden Tate for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially with the weather, they're going to be pounding the rock in Buffalo, and I'm not really a Stills fan, but once I saw Golden Tate, that was, that's just I would honestly be. I am starting Golden Tate like week in and week out most of the time. I think that I got him. What was it? He was one of those guys that I stashed early on because of his suspension, and he's come up and helped me in the case of Devontae Adams going down. So he was kind of the swap in, and he's been helping me. I don't know if I've necessarily been winning, but I feel confident enough to use him as a backup and not have to search the waiver wire. But all right, so take a quick commercial break here. I want to just let everyone know that we are sponsored by StatementGames.com. This is a Vegas-style betting game that it's like a DFS where you pick statements of is this team going to have more points or less points? Is this player going to have more yards, less yards? And it's a very simple and easy complement to your fantasy game. It's free to play. You get 60 free coins if you sign up through idpguys.org. Click the banner at the top, and that'll bring you right in. Very easy to sign up. You can do it through Google or through Facebook. One click and you're in. And then you join contests. And if you join a branded contest, usually those tournaments have prizes. Our prize is NFL gear. For a while, we were doing jerseys, and then it moved into right now we've got the Green Bay game, the Sunday night game. You can win 2 Green Bay hats. And, like I said, it's free to play. It's very easy, and it's a good complement to your fantasy football game. You're basically betting on real football rather than the fantasy stuff that we are doing, which sometimes, you're trying to bet on who's going to be worse, especially in cornerback play for us. But it's a fun game. I really love what they put together there at Statement Games. So that's statementgames.com. Go to idpguys.org, click the banner at the top. It'll bring you right in, and that tells them that you came through us and gives us a little boost. You get 60 free coins to start. You can get free coins every day. Just spin the wheel, and so you pretty much play this game for free for as long as you want. And you win coins, and you can cash them out for gift cards. So it does turn into real money. If you've ever wanted to turn fake money into real money, statementgames.com. That is the way to do it. Dougie's been in the running for a couple times for winning jerseys. Him
Close, brother.
And
Close.
Joey were neck and neck for the first one, the Jamie Collins jersey that came out week 1, and Joey was able to snatch that win. And then I was able
ties. I've been in 3 overall ties, and the way they do the tiebreaker is really cool too, because they'll make sometimes they'll make a private contest that they just put you and the person that you tied with, and maybe, fill the room out a little bit, of course too, but you'll go head to head with that person that you scored the points with, or they do however many coins you can get the following day, which is referring a friend, joining contest, winning the contest, winning the tournaments, so it's awesome, man. It's super fun. No joke. It's super fun.
Yeah, no, we've been getting a lot of people involved, and so each week on the IDP guys, Johnny the Greek goes over his top 3 picks for the week. He hasn't been doing as good as some of the others, but he at least gives you a little insight into where to kind of go with your picks. And I was able to, when Kansas City game came up, I had a perfect ticket, and that got me a little Mahomes.
And shout out to Johnny the Greek, man. Nobody sees every single one of our statement lineups, that we put in. Not everyone sees one of our lineups, fantasy football lineups. Johnny the Greek puts out his start sit every single week, which pretty much can tell you who he's setting in his fantasy football lineup. So he shows you his fantasy football lineups every single week. Plus, he has the statement games that he pretty much gives you, great picks every week on. He's not going to get it right every time, but I appreciate the hell out of his hard work, man, because he's great at it. He's my go-to for the start sit.
Yeah, so absolutely. And going into, make sure you're checking out idpguys.org, dynastyfootballdigest.com. We have start sits that go out each week through that site. Zach Hargis, one of our newer writers, put out the offensive start sits for Sunday, Monday games. Check that out, dynastyfootballdigest.com. And then John literally 15,000 words. He goes through every single matchup, every single player, and he grades them whether or not they are a strong start, a weak start, a sit, a flash in the pan. You can go through that, and if you have any further questions, just go directly to him on Twitter, at OrangeMan3142, Johnny the Greek. He'll answer any question all the way up to game time. And I'm actually going to be seeing him in about an hour. We're going to Sliders to eat some wings and watch some football. But
will you give him a little sugar for me?
A little sugar?
You give him a little.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I can do that. Just for you, Dougie. But again, we are here. We're going to keep this going till a little after noon. Eastern, and we will answer all your questions. Get them in, send them through the chat. We will answer them. Did you guys got any questions coming from Twitter?
Yeah, buddy, I got two of them. I was just trying to pull them up before I shouted them out. So
yeah, go for it. Give them a shout out by their handle and
sure.
Yeah, let's answer.
I got one. If Dougie, you're okay with me.
Take off, Bubba. Take off.
Okay. All right. So I got one from @JKnobs. He's asking Chubb in this mud bowl this week, or Marlon Mack against Denver. I mean, Denver's, despite losing Bradley Chubb, Denver has a pretty good run defense. I'd be kind of concerned about Marlon Mack this week versus the volume you're going to get out of Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
they're both not great matchups. I would lean Chubb in this situation just because of the defensive matchup. I feel like,
really?
I feel. And I say I feel, but at the end of the day, you have to kind of go with your gut feeling after you're looking at all the numbers. Poor matchups defensively. The Browns, are going to have to spread the ball around in the passing game, and I think they're going to find a way to do it this week against New England, despite New England having a really good passing defense. And I know the Patriots defense has been one of the best defenses in quite a while. But I think volume alone is just going to have to be on Chubb's side. So I think Chubb is going to get the out of the two. I would pick Nick Chubb.
Cool. All right. I've got a question for you from @Walt Sperlin, good friend of mine. TJ Hawkinson playing today?
Yeah, I don't think I'm starting. I actually pulled him from my lineup. So here's the thing. Going against the Giants, this would probably be the best opportunity for him. So on paper, start all of your Lions. But looking at how things have been going, I'm fading him just because he, out the gate, had a great first game and really hasn't replicated that. I think this is a bigger Marvin Jones game. I think this is going to be If Ty Johnson's going to be a thing, this could be it. But that being said, if you don't have a better option, start him.
All right, and this was a two-parter because it goes back. Okay, I heard you say Marvin Jones. So Marvin Jones or Corey Davis?
They still have Tannehill and
Yes,
in the Titans.
I like that though. Let me tell you, I like the fact that they had, as soon as Tannehill got in there with the starting opportunity, he was targeting Corey Davis. He was making it known that that is his guy. Granted, that's just 1 week. That's 1 week. It's hard.
No, I definitely like Corey Davis. John has been rolling him in DFS because he's been super cheap and just it's been working out for him, and he's been rolling it going forward. So I don't know if Marvin Jones is going to get the same. There's no way you're replicating 4 touchdowns. No. If he could get 1 or 2. I think he is definitely a red zone target. I just also like Corey Davis, which is, I feel like I burped him, kind of threw up in my mouth a little bit saying that. But with Tannehill there, it seems like they're spreading the ball around a little more and utilizing these receivers. So,
well, then you have to look at the stats here. The Buccaneers are near the bottom of the league in defensive pass coverage, so that favors that Tannehill matchup right there.
Mm-hmm. And the Giants are just straight trash. So
right. So, I mean, is it a lose-lose or is it a win?
I think it's a coin flip. To be honest, but man, you got this one's stumping.
We haven't mentioned Marvin Jones hardly any at all this year, have we? And then he scores 4 touchdowns, and now all of a sudden we're asking Marvin Jones or Corey Davis. Imagine if you asked this 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Even as bad as Corey Davis has been, I feel like this would have been a slam dunk Corey Davis answer. And now here we are.
Right.
But that's the Lions wide receiver core. Marvin Jones is always that threat, but he doesn't always get utilized. And especially if they're going to have to cut back on the run, that means they're going to rely on Stafford's arm, which in years past has been able to support, 2 wide receiver ones in a season, and Marvin Jones was part of that. So you can't really knock his ability to go off any given Sunday, whereas Corey Davis is kind of the new guy on the field. If you in the conversation at least, but everyone's always said he's got the talent. So
I know I got a fun.
I'm leaning Corey Davis though.
Okay, all right. I got a fun little bit. Who scores more today, Marvin Jones or Golden Tate? The former teammates. I think that's a fun little debate there. Who outshines who today?
That's tough.
I think that is a great question, and I have no idea where to go with it. To be honest with you, I'd say Golden Tate just because there's nobody else in New York. That's why
I disagree there. You have Saquon. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. They use him in the passing game.
Yeah, I'd expect him to have 7 spies on him though in a Patricia defense.
Is Ingram coming back this week, or is he still out?
Who's that?
Is Evan Ingram coming back this week, or is he still out?
That's a good question.
Don't know that, Jorge, buddy. Don't know. While y'all are looking that up, Nate, you want to throw that other question up on there, buddy, and we'll talk about that?
Yeah, we got a couple here. Actually, I want to pull up Snacks IDP here. He's got a question. He DM'd me.
What's up, Snack?
He says he can't sign into the YouTube to ask in the chat, but
he must be using Daryl's connection.
Maybe. He's got the possums today too. Dante Jackson or Carlton Davis today?
Ooh. Nate, have you seen anything on Dante Jackson? He's been banged up.
I have not seen anything.
Snacks, give me a holler, buddy. I need to look on there and see how he's been in the practice reports this week. Because
I'm
to be
Googling
1,000% honest with you, I haven't been following his injury. And if he's practiced all week, you fire up Dante Jackson, buddy. But
yeah, he's returning this week. He's set to return this week.
Right. But be careful because the Niners don't have that big wide receiver threat. And that's kind of what you need with Dante Jackson. I guess you got Dante Pettis that he might be on that can stretch the field. But how many times is Garoppolo going to go to him?
And newly acquired wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders. He hasn't even played a full. He hasn't even been there a week yet, so they're probably not going to emphasize him in the passing game either.
Right. And I still expect Sanders to play around the middle of the field. I still expect him to play the slot, So I expect Dante Jackson to cover somebody on the outside, which would probably be the X receiver in Pettis is my guess this week. And Garoppolo just don't take shots down the field. Yeah, he'll do it maybe once a quarter, but you need if you're starting Dante Jackson, you want to start somebody in a high flying, offense, high scoring offense, and that's not what you have with the Niners. You got ball control and win with defense, and that scares me away starting a cornerback.
So I got the practice report, the injury report for the Panthers. Dante Jackson has been a full practice all week.
Okay.
So
all right.
Helps.
So
doesn't sound like it helped.
I would start him because he's healthy. And maybe they move him around to get him more involved, or maybe they just keep him on the outside because he's been a little banged up. It's that's tough to me. I might just go Davis. I might just avoid that situation.
Gotcha. All right. DOF honk honk. Do y'all think Carson Wentz turns it around this season?
Ooh, Jorge.
See, now you're putting me on the spot as a loyal Washington Redskins fan who shows no bias whatsoever. Insert my heavy sarcasm. Does Carson Wentz get it back together?
And what is getting it back?
Getting it back means you get Deshaun Jackson back to stretch that field to make that receiving core a little bit more potent. You're hearing all the rumblings coming out of Philadelphia where Alshon Jeffrey's bad-mouthing Carson Wentz, and the running game for the Eagles. Is it Sanders? Is it Howard? When is it going to be? When is it going to be whose turn? Zach Ertz. We all knew that there was regression coming back from his league-leading reception, or no, he came in second in receptions in terms of total receivers last year. You knew that was going to come down. He hasn't been playing that well this year comparatively. Is it going to come back for Carson Wentz? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to ascend. I'm not seeing a huge year for the rest of the season for Carson Wentz now. Yeah. Unless you get a Deshaun Jackson back who can make all your other weapons in the short to intermediate range of the field more viable.
I think it's kind of sad that Deshaun Jackson's the glue that holds
the
offense together.
Yeah. But that's just that's why they brought him in. That's why they brought him in, so that they can funnel all these under targets. You look at the Aguilar. Everyone saw that catch against Dallas where he could have jumped or extended himself to make that catch, and he just let the ball fall like literally a foot in front of him. And it's like, no, I'm not going to die for it. I'm just going to let it go. Like, if that's the type of effort you're getting from your receiving core, who is, that's a big problem. When your number one wide receiver is calling out your quarterback, your number two wide receiver isn't diving to make plays, to help your team get back into the game. That's not a recipe for success. So, sorry. And yes, I am a Redskins fan, but I'm also trying to be as unbiased as possible. Like, this doesn't, the Redskins aren't winning the Super Bowl, for this year, shocker. So I'm not going to tell you that they're a great team, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it either. I just, I'd stay away from Carson Wentz.
Gotcha. All right. We've got a defensive question here. Nickel 007. Defensive back Edmonds has slowed down rest of season dynasty. Keep or drop for bye week coverage. He's got Tyrann Mathieu and Antoine Bethea as his other two.
No, do not drop Terrell Edmonds. No. Do not drop Terrell Edmonds. No.
Especially in dynasty.
Not at all. Please do not do that. Only reason that's his numbers is taking a little bit of hit is because they got Minka and they're trying to seeing what they have in Minka, whether he's going to be the free safety or whether he's going to be the strong safety.
Right.
And actually, in Pittsburgh, it's not so much dependent, and it's not the name tag of free safety and strong safety in Pittsburgh. They almost run more of a 5-2 defense where there's only two defensive linebackers on the field and the rest are secondary players. So them safeties in Pittsburgh are almost interchangeable. And with Edmonds already knowing the system for a year or two and having it under his belt, he's kind of been able to play that center field a little bit more and help keep the defense in assignments where they're supposed to be. Whereas Minka's getting to run around a little bit more and make a little bit more of the plays. But I believe that changes or that could go either way. I believe it could go either way. So I don't hold Edmonds a lot. Drop him at all. I was real high on him coming into this season. He's taking a big leap as it is. And like I said, I think he's just helped getting that defensive in line. So stay solid there with Edmonds.
Yeah. He does say that it's 2 points per tackle. That's a good scoring.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You want to see that? You want to see that with your safeties for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So going back to our little conversation, Melvin, oh Jesus, Golden Tate versus
Marvin,
thank you. That M words.
you need
David,
coffee.
I haven't finished it. David Matula says Ingram is active. So what do you think that does? I think that downgrades Golden Tate slightly.
Thanks, David. By the way.
Yeah.
In the conversation between Golden Tate and Marvin Jones, I think that that's just another weapon for Danny Dimes to throw to.
So I'm going to say an unpopular statement that both of you are probably not going to like.
Go for it.
As well as a large majority of the fantasy football community who blew their fab on Ty Johnson this week as soon as Carry-On went on IR. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, but who is Ty Johnson? And why should we be all of a sudden hopping on a bandwagon of an unknown player when, in fact, for the Lions, for many seasons, it has been revolving. The offense has revolved around Matthew Stafford throwing the ball. And you get Matthew Stafford in a high volume passing situation. He has performed from a fantasy perspective this season. I don't see how that is any different this week going against the Giants in that poor secondary. I don't see this obscure player out of nowhere just all of a sudden coming over and like toting the rock, 15 to 20 times a game and putting up crazy numbers. I'm more of like I need to see it before I believe it person. So in terms of passing volume, I think that favors Marvin Jones than Golden Tate.
It's all about that flavor of the week, brother.
I know.
You got to get that hot topic so you can be the cool guy that says you got the new hot topic. I got
it. I know.
But I'm with you, Jorge. I'm the exact same way. I'm not the guy that gambles on Josh Gordon. I'm not the guy that gambles on Vontaze Burfict. I'm not the guy that gambles on Reuben Foster's. These guys, the whatever it is, the injury guys or the new guy. I'm the same way, Jorge. I gotta see it, man. I gotta see it. It's the same way with like my outside linebackers. In IDP leagues, man, I gotta see it more than once or twice. So I'm with you, but hey, man, that hot new flavor.
So going on the Ty Johnson subject, I fully agree that the Lions are probably going to rely on Stafford's arm with Kerryon Johnson going out. We said this before the show started.
Right.
Kerryon Johnson has the value that the Lions have to go through. Like they drafted him high, and he's been their guy in the running game. So you don't just let that slip away. You game plan. He's one of your stars. So some rando coming in doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to force the ball to him. What I do think is that right now Ty Johnson's the pretty much only guy. There's J.D. McKissick, which I mean, there's some value there, I guess, in the passing game. But essentially, Ty Johnson's going to get the rock, and he's going to go at least a few times this game. The reason I think that if there's a game, this would be it for Ty Johnson is the fact that the Giants are just so bad that if Johnson can effectively run the ball, he will be the hot hand, and they're going to try and see what they can get. So that would be the only reason for me to start him would be if my running back situation is just blasted and I want to just take a chance and I just need the upside. I think this is going to be a passing game for sure. But Ty Johnson was a 6th-round pick and made the team and is moved up to this, number 2 running back on the team. So he's been showing his coaches at least, 6th-round picks generally either land on the practice squad or are buried on the depth chart. So there is that.
Right.
Let's see. Biggest complainer here. He says Bell or Chubb.
I'll take Lev. Bell. That Patriots defense just been playing too good football.
Yeah, I'll second that. I'll go Le'Veon this week.
All right. So this one might be more you guys here. So this was posted. Sean Pearsall says he posted this in the Slack chat. Just a reminder for everyone, become a subscriber, idpguys.org for $1 a month. You get access to our Slack chat where you can ask questions directly to anyone on staff. And it's turned into a pretty great resource for guys getting their questions answered. But he says in the Start Sit article written by Johnny, Rayshon Jenkins is mentioned, but Roderick Teamer is not. In fewer games, Teamer has more tackles. He also had a better game last week. What do you guys think about Roderick Teamer?
I seen this question just a second ago, buddy, and I was looking at some numbers just to back it up for me. But Teamer he's putting up the tackle numbers, and that's what you like to see. In my opinion, that's what I like to see. In my secondary, had a pick last week, had a pass deflection last week, and that's when I start believing. Tackle numbers are one thing. I like to see a lot of solo tackles.
Oh yeah.
That means that the player ain't having to depend on somebody else to help get a tackle, or he ain't there at the end of the play. By the time somebody's got him wrapped up around the legs and this guy comes over and helps get a tackle. I don't like that. So the 6 solo tackles is the first thing that I like seeing. I really like that a lot. And then we got a tackle for a loss, an interception, and a pass deflection, which is good for 23 points in fantasy. I'm taking that all day. As to his question and why the Start Sit article, I hit up our brother DM Johnny. Whenever Johnny has a couple of minutes, I promise he will get back to you with a logical answer why Johnny has it that way. So I'm not going to speak for Johnny, but I would add Teamer. Just because of the 6 solos, and I see he's contributing on the pass deflections, which means they have him in coverage, have him in there on coverage, maybe covering the tight end. So I like Teamer personally.
You talk about the solo versus assisted tackles. I'm pulling up his numbers right now. Among all defensive backs for the Chargers, he leads all of them in solo tackles, and his solo to assisted ratio is ridiculous, like 22 solo to 9 assisted. Like you said, the passes defense, the interceptions, like he's making plays. He's not just a thumper. Like he's making plays all over the field. And like you said, with especially in tackle heavy leagues, that solo to assist number, that is huge. That is huge.
Undrafted rookie, another thing, super banged up secondary there. This kid might be trying to get a damn job, you know what I'm saying? So his kid is flying all over the football field. So, I'm not sure. I don't have much to be 1,000% I'm not very familiar with Rayshon Jenkins, but I did start looking at Teamer late yesterday evening and this morning. So that's somebody that was already on my radar. So that's where I'm going to tell you to go, but I'm not, contradicting Johnny's argument or article at
So
all.
I can tell you right now why Jenkins is named and Teamer isn't. Jenkins is a safety. Teamer is a cornerback.
Oh, okay.
Johnny streams cornerbacks. The Start Sit article doesn't really go into cornerbacks. He might name one here or there, but Jenkins is playing 100% snaps at the free safety position. So if you need a cornerback, go Teamer. I'm sure Johnny would say that too, but I don't think he's going through every single player in the NFL. If he's got to hit cornerbacks too, he would probably still be writing it.
Yes.
So
yes.
Just for everyone out there, keep in mind we study this stuff, but we're not ESPN. This isn't our day job. We do this on the side just to help you guys and everything. So I know Johnny works 50-hour weeks as a drug and alcohol counselor, helping people get sober, get off, bad situations.
Yes.
And then he comes home.
He's an amazing person.
And he does 2 articles a week, both of them around 10,000 words. So if you ever have something you see is wrong with the article or you got a question about it, hit him up. He loves to chat with pretty much anyone. But when it comes down to it, if it's a cornerback question, I don't know how he might just give you some good streamers in that article, but generally he's just hitting safeties, defensive ends and stuff like that. So,
and you're very welcome, Sean. Anytime, buddy.
Yeah. Let's see. And Snacks here was able to log in. He says, even if it's not related, just DM Johnny anyway. Johnny is a great guy. Him and I started this whole thing about 3 years ago. And this is what it's turned into. And great guy. I can't say anything better about him. But
creator of the Feet and Meat podcast coming in 2020, I believe.
Get advanced merch. So let's talk about that real quick. myfantasyfootballshirt.com. This is a side project, I guess you could call that. I've started up that goes along the lines of fantasy football merchandise. We've been putting out some pretty great shirts. We do. I'm putting out some just shirts that people might want to buy, but we also partner up with other brands. Dynasty Vipers is one of them. We're going to be hosting their merch. Go on there, support them. IDP Nation, just waiting for some of the paperwork to go through, and then we'll be hosting their merch. And then also I do custom shirts for leagues. So the Pod Wars League, Dougie hit me up, and I made a cool design. It looks like a band T-shirt, a touring T-shirt.
It's awesome, man. That thing is killer, dude. I love that thing. I ordered like 4 or 5. I'm gonna give it out Christmas.
Yeah, there you go.
You have no idea what I'm gonna be talking about or handing out, but hey, I like it. You know what I mean?
Yep. We've got a league called LA. It's a Letterkenny themed league, which I just posted last night a shirt for them. It's a Puppers beer, a Puppers lager shirt, but it says LA instead of Puppers, and then these guys only talk about this. It was one of the taglines. Only ever talking about this, but check it out. It supports what we're doing here at IDP, guys. It supports multiple brands. We do partnerships, it's profit sharing, all of that kind of stuff. myfantasyfootballshirt.com. Sean Lanigan at Lanny1925 helped me out with the content writing. So you can go on there. There's a lot of information about what we do, what we're about. So definitely hit that up. Let's see. You guys got any other questions we want to roll with? I think we're going to do last call here. So if you got a question, you got a comment you want to toss in there, hit us up in the chat. We're going to go until about 12:15.
Let's see here.
Oh my goodness, my LA team is in shambles.
Sweet feet.
Sweet feet is them bad boys are burnt, dog.
Yeah, it happens when you take over for a manager that doesn't know what he was doing in the draft.
Hey, I guess I got on personal one here. As
Go
the
for it.
offensive guys on the show, Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, or Jameis Winston there today. Pick one of them there, Jorge.
Wow. I understand the upside with Jameis Winston. I can never trust him again. I can't do it. I have to take a stance. Like I can't trust Jameis Winston. Too unpredictable.
Darnold or Jones?
I-
Darnold or Jones? Who you got?
I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Daniel Jones. I think this Lions Giants game is gonna be a lot of fun. I think with the weapons coming back for the Giants, bad defense, the hits that the Lions secondary took this past week, I just feel like you know what, the revenge narrative with Golden Tate. All these stars are starting to align in this
I
Giants.
don't think there's a
matchup.
revenge narrative with Golden Tate.
Well, former team wants to show he's still good narrative.
I think he's just happy he got a job.
Yeah. He's come out even this season saying that the best quarterback he ever played with was Matthew Stafford. I wouldn't. I know what you're saying. The whole just playing against your guys.
No ill will towards the Lions.
Yeah, I just I guess the phrasing.
Touche.
As a Lions fan and a lover of Golden Tate, even when he was on the Eagles, I was a big supporter all around. But so did that answer the question?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I got a couple here. Last minute: Robert, Eric, Keenan Allen, or Devontae Parker.
Oh, Keenan Allen.
Ooh, yeah.
Buster screen, bad in coverage. Give me Keenan Allen.
Alrighty. L. Davis 23, Mecole Hardman, or Damian of the
Ooh.
Kansas City
Damian.
Chiefs?
Damian, baby.
Yeah, they're. Yeah, I'm going Damian. I can't trust his passing attack outside of Tyreek Hill with Matt Moore at the quarterback position.
Yep. Alrighty. Let's see if we've got anything. All right, everyone. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jorge and Doug, for coming on the show. We're going to wrap this one up. Look at that. Betty White and the gang
Nice.
on the shirt there. That's it's fluorescent. It's great. But make sure you're following us all. I'm at Nate Cheat. Jorge here is Fantasy Football Jorge, Fantasy FB. Dougie at Oklahoma Dougie. Make sure, if you guys come on YouTube, click the subscribe button. We're working our way up to 1,000 subscribers. So that helps. Each one helps us out. We put out a ton of content on YouTube. So there's always videos for, Rated IDP Live. We've got the F3 pod that goes through there. We're working on getting some cameras set up and stuff for IDP guys. So this off season, we are going to be kicking it with some live streaming there and doing some videos. Dougie here's our YouTube dude, and he's got a cock on his cup. And
I recently quit my job, so we'll be kicking out them fucking videos like nothing there pretty soon, buddy. Took a little week off to get everything calmed down around the house, get some financial stuff straightened away for the next month, and I'm going to do some fantasy football, some sleeping in, and some deer hunting.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice.
Pew, 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 pew.
Well, with that, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Make sure you're following us all on Twitter. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, on our websites, all of that stuff. Don't forget to hit up fantasyandframes.com, right?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, there it is. Jorge does some great work for us, but he also runs that site and does a very good job. We actually scouted and got him to come on with us, so we recognize the good work that he does there. But
Thank you very much. Thank you. And it's a great thank you for having me on this week with you guys. Hopefully we can keep this going. I can be on a few more shows going forward this season. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing this each Sunday morning, starting at 11. And we did have a 2-week bye. I apologize for that. 1 week I didn't set my alarm, and the second week I had family in. So there we go. We'll be going until at least week 16. So see you guys. Good luck.
Closing time. Time for you to go home to the places you will be